Okay, so in April of 1861, there was a huge bombardment and killing at Fort Sumter. And so Abraham Lincoln called for volunteers to help fuel the Civil War. And so in April of 1861, I always keep saying 1961, of 1861, Bayou volunteered to join the war and fight for the Union. So that is the northern side of the war. So the southern side is called the Confederacy or the Confederates, and then up north were called the Union. So he wanted to fight on behalf of the Union. And through this active participation, he was really kind of passionate about it because, again, that law background, his political beliefs, he felt really enthusiastic about all of this. So because of his enthusiasm, because of his intelligence, he actually became an officer in the Union, and he led the troops to the first Battle of Bull Run. Now, this is one of the most infamous battles of the Civil War, and I'm sure that Mr. Banner probably will mention this to you, but yeah, so he was the Union, one of the Union officers then. But the problem with that was that Bull Run was a really tough battle, and unfortunately during this, because since he was the officer, he was leading his troops in on horse. He was the first one in line as they're arriving, and through this battle, he ends up being hit by a Confederate cannonball, and it completely blows off part of his right leg. To try and help him and save him, they actually end up amputating the rest of his right leg, and they carry him off the field. However, once the Union troops started to retreat and head back to Washington because they knew that the Confederates were going to decimate their army if they stayed, they actually left Bayou behind. So his troops just left him there on the battlefield for dead. Kind of crappy. Not so great. But he was super into it, and then with the first Battle of Bull Run, unfortunately things happened that didn't really quite go his way. Okay, so let's see what happens next.